Hey there, my name's Nick, and I'm a novice pen and ink artist. I'm 26 years old, and I've drawn here and there all throughout my life. My mom is actually an incredible artist who's more of a painter, but when I was young, I was a Yu-Gi-Oh nerd. Yes, I know, shut up Pokemon Andes. I was the weird kid, I know. But for the first half or so of my life, I started tracing things when I wanted to. Then, once my older brother and I started collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I wanted to draw some of them. Problem was, if I traced the cards, it might have tarnished them. Not only that, but the pictures were pretty small to trace to begin with if I wanted them to fit my sketchbook pages. So I ended up having to learn how to draw by reference instead of tracing. I still remember drawing Pumpkin King of Ghosts when I was in this phase, and part of me really wants to figure out where that drawing went over the years, but a bigger part of me hopes I never see it again, to be honest. Anyways, once I hit my teens, I started drawing more things like pictures and so on till I got my first trauma update. That kind of made me put drawing away for almost 10 years. Big sad. And yes, all my life at this point I was just drawing with a pencil. Preferably and always a number 2 Ticonderoga. Mostly because I was constantly erasing and redrawing lines until I got them right where I want them. Until, of course, I got to the other side of the drawing and realized I had no idea what perspective or proportions were, and constantly erased all my previous progress to start over. Fast forward to this year, more accurately the last 4 months or so, I picked up a pencil again after years of no drawing a little over a year ago. But a few months ago, I was finishing up an anime I really liked called Gachiakuta. I usually like anime for the stories, unironically, because Western media lately has seemed so flat and one note, so uniform and becoming more and more unrelatable to me. I couldn't seem to connect with characters as easy as I could growing up watching the Marvel movies or old shows I watched as a kid, etc. But Gachiakuta was different than other animes I'd gotten into the last few years because of its unique art style. In fact, I liked it so much I went and bought the first 3 manga books for it. As I started reading through them, the artwork was even more detailed and defined. I was inspired. So I made the jump. I decided to put the pencil down for a little while and try just pen and ink and ordered myself a little fine tip pen kit. But I was terrified. Yeah, sure, my lines would be darker and more defined, but I was always terrified of that. My lines had to be light and erasable all my life. What if I made a mistake? I couldn't just erase ink. But I knew I wanted at least to get closer to the manga style of art. It's so much more contrasted and crisp, and I wanted that. I knew it was a sacrifice I wanted to make one day. And although I'm still young, I was already 25 at that time, I think. I knew that time isn't waiting around for anybody and that I had to start. And so I did. And man, I kept screwing up over and over. Drawing without erasing is so much harder. So I looked up videos, started studying different aspects of drawing. Up until this point, no one's ever taught me anything. I was totally self taught. I never even thought I was really practicing anything. I was just drawing to just draw. I didn't feel a need to get better. Not only all this, but I really wanted to try and learn how to draw from imagination, which I had never done before either. So I researched that too and happened upon a video by Broken Draw on YouTube. Started doing that exercise he was covering. Shout out Broken Draw, he's the GOAT. So now, months later, life has really gone downhill. I'm struggling to find time to draw at all again. Got a few personal problems going on too. Everything's moving too fast and I don't know how I'm going to catch up, to be honest. But I know I want to try and keep drawing habitually. So that's why I'm here, with this new channel of mine. I want to try and force myself to be more consistent by making content that, hopefully, you guys will enjoy to force myself to keep drawing and improving. I'm only a few months in with my pens and I've got miles and miles of lines to go before I do anything big goals wise. One day, I'd like to make my own manga style story, but that'll require learning how to write as well. I'll need to learn the art of protagonists, antagonists, drama, climaxes, everything. I've never really been much of a writer, to be honest. But I always have these excerpts in my head of scenarios or mini storylines that are fragmented and never have a beginning or an end. I even have character ideas I've been meddling with in my head the last 3 months or so. But I still have to study anatomy and drawing, and heads, and hell, even clothing folds. It's a little overwhelming, but That's the big idea. So, with this channel, I'd like to keep drawing and learning, and I'd like you to join me. I'm thinking I'd like to run two different types of content on this channel. I'm not going to limit myself to just these two, but I figured I'll start with these two, so to speak. For the first, I'd like to do a read through and commentary as a newbie pen and ink artist of my favorite manga slash anime, One Piece. It's genuinely got both the art and the writing to really showcase a masterpiece example of both. But despite me saying this, you can hate me if you want, my only real critique of One Piece is the character design. It's kind of a quirk more than a fault with Oda, but he makes up for that and then some in the scale and details in all of his settings and world building. But I don't want to get too carried away with all that in the intro video. The second run of content I'm thinking about is just documenting my study and journey of drawing pen and ink, whatever that may be that week. I have lots of things on the to do list in that department, such as more studying of heads, studying folds, composition, perspective, really everything. I kind of just want to drill all these things until they're intuitive, really. So that's all I've got for this intro, guys. If any of this sounds interesting to you, leave a like and comment down below anything you may want to see me do or study. Also, if you want to follow my journey, subscribe and come along. Could be wicked fun and adventurous. You never know. Anyways, guys, be safe and keep creating. I'll see you in the next video.